On this, the first edition of Football Weekly, we profile a high-rising team in the Premier League, Conaree F.C, and their secret for success. We have highlights of one of the most exciting matches of the second round of the Premier League, and we talk with the SKNFA about the progress of the Premier League and other competitions. Welcome to Football Weekly. Not many teams in St. Kitts can boast of constant progression over the last 3 Premier League seasons like Conaree FC. The team has become a staple in the playoffs over those seasons and made the finals for the first time last year. Though losing to Delphic Newtown United, the team made a good showing last season, winning 3 cups, including a successful defense of the Sugar Mass Cup in 2012 and winning the 7-a-side competition. With the start of the 2013 season, Conaree has been on a roll and has won the coveted FA Cup, defeating nemesis Newtown United in a penalty shootout. So what makes Conaree FC such a progressive club?
I think good management, good coaching, good players. We seem to be meshing nicely. As I said, with any team you have your ups and downs, but we persevere through them. We have each other's back. We communicate well off the field as well. With a community this small, you tend to see your players, your teammates quite often, and we hang out with each other and that sort of thing. So I think all that with good management and good coaching is the answer.
The amazing thing is that Conaree currently does not have a sponsor. Corey's, the sponsor that has been supporting the team over the last few years, unfortunately pulled out due to financial challenges. The club is not only hunting for its first Premier League title, but also a sponsor.
The team has been thriving hard without a sponsor, trying to make the best of situations. The team seemed to be more focused this year, even hungrier after coming so close to winning the major cup last year. So I think that has a lot to do and inspire the guys with some recent success in winning the futsal competition as well as the FA Cup competition. I'm going to take this opportunity now, if any business out there who want to take on board and the responsibility of sponsoring the Conaree Football Club, we're more than willing to sit down and negotiate. You'll be getting a good product, one that is up on the rise, and with a lot of youngsters on the team, we're sure to be up there for a very long time to come.
Conaree has also improved its image over the years, moving from a team struggling with disciplinary issues to a club with level-headed, focused players. Team management had to take charge of the on-field discipline issues that were affecting the team's performances. The results were evident.
I think one of the things that we try to instill, although we don't get, we seem to not get favorable calls at time, to leave the referees, to focus on the game. Once you put the ball in the back of the net, it don't matter what the referee is saying, they can determine the outcome of the game once you play a game. So I think, and that seemed to have helped a lot. Because when you're winning, you enjoy the game more, and you don't have to pay much attention to outside factors. So all that, when we have our team meetings, we put in place a disciplinary committee that wasn't in place before. And if guys messed up along the way, they'll be disciplined, and they know that. And we have taken action against some of the players before, and they know this thing is a real thing. So they try not to get falter and to miss games or anything like that. So that they love the game, so they have to play it how it's supposed to be played.
Despite the challenges, however, Conaree thrives on the community and fan support.
We hear about the 12th man. They indeed is the 12th man when we're down and out. I seem like nowhere to come back. They've been there rallying behind us. As I said, without a sponsor, we need them behind of us, because in case of any fundraising events, we need them on board. Any sponsorship, any way they can contribute. You don't have to be financially, they're always there. So fans is very, very vital, more so without a sponsor. Team spirit is always there. like any other team, we have the ups and downs, but through it all, we persevere. We have each other's back on and off the field. We have the best interests at heart for one another. With the fans, you can't say enough about the fans. They're always there through thick and thin. Last couple of Final Fours, they came out wanting the cup as well as us, but didn't get it. But they still stick with us, still rally behind us. If we have any events, any sponsorship, anything to help the team, they're on board.
Coming so close to winning a title was painful for the fans and the players. But assistant coach Delaney believes that this will serve as a motivator for the team this season.
It was bittersweet. I mean, happy that we got this far for the first time ever. But still, again, we believe that we had enough in us and the team chemistry and so on to overcome the hump. But Newtown present themselves a great challenge and one that we couldn't overcome at that particular time. It was down, but I mean, with anything, we take it a grain of salt and we move on.
Coach Alexis Morris seems to be doing a fantastic job at Conaree, and his assistant believes the team stand a good chance this season to clinch their first Premier League title. This certainly will not be easy, as the fight at the top remains tight, with defending champions Newtown United maintaining good form and St Paul's United still having their say, as is customary. But if winning the FA Cup is a sign of intent by Conaree, fans and pundits will agree they do stand a chance.
I think we stand a very good chance. I mean, we have more experience. We are hungrier than ever before, being so close and, as you say, not so close but not so far. So this time we're definitely aiming to go for it. I mean, it's going to be a tough challenge. I mean, even to make the four is very close up top. So we're trying to hang on and hopefully carry some momentum into the Final Four. We just have to take it game by game. As I say, with 2 rounds of football, nobody's taking any game lightly. So we have to go out there with 110%, no matter if it's a team who is not in the top half of the table. We know they're fighting. They have a reason to fight, either it be relegation or to stay in the Premiership or to make the Final Four. So we know every team is scrapping for points. So we just have to take it game by game and put 110% every time.
This year, Conaree has added some young blood to join the senior guys, with the hope that this new mix will get them over the hump to their first Premier League title.
Some of the new players like Wazim Howe and Tristan, those players just finishing up high school. We have some of the veterans like Stedward Charles and Madassa Howe, who have been on that level, not only with the club but on a national level, who have helped them and groomed them along and encouraged them, you know. Sometimes they find tough times and you know, they have somebody who they can talk to and encourage them on. Because it's not easy in the Premiership, especially entering as so young for the first time. So a lot of grooming, not only by the coaching staff but the elder players, is really significant in their success.
In this week's Player Spotlight, we highlight Delphic Newtown United goalkeeper Akil Manaras Manawal Byron. Also the goalkeeper for the national team, Byron is a staple in St. Kitts Nevis football.
I started off football at the age of maybe about 9. At first I didn't know goalkeeper, I was really like an outfield man, but after putting on a little thing in the goal, the boys and really said that he's a goalkeeper. Being a goalkeeper is so special to me, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the best position on the field, you know? You could touch the ball with your hand all over, which in the outfield man, them could only touch it with their head and the feet. Yeah. So I feel like goalkeeping is like the best position on the field. Well, playing for Newtown as a boy coming up, playing for Newtown was always a drive for me, you know, always a pleasure playing for Newtown, playing for a good community. You know, many championships, you know what I mean? So it was always a drive for me to be there, to see how it is winning a championship and being around a champion. Well, national duty. That's always the biggest thing. We don't get paid here, so national duty is the biggest stage you could go on. Representing the national team is always I put my heart out to represent my country. Because, as I say, it's a drive to represent the country. You don't get paid, so representing the country, that's the biggest you could get. So representing must a drive for me.
Still to come, we get a progress report from the SKNFA on the Premier League and other football competitions, and we review one of the hottest matches of the second round of the Premier League. The Premier League this season got off to a very late start. In some quarters, there were fears that football probably wouldn't happen this season due to an impasse between 4 teams and the St Kitts Nevis Football Association. For football fans across the country, it was a relief to learn the season would get underway and that all teams would participate. Football Weekly stopped by Football House to speak to General Secretary of the SKNFA, Stanley Jacobs, to get the FA's assessment of the league thus far.
As you know, we got off to a late start with the Premier League, and we're only having 2 rounds this season. The Premier League is going fantastic. We're more or less halfway through, about maybe exactly midway point of the second round, with all of the teams having just about 5 remaining matches to go, and then we go into the final 4. The final 4 is slated for late July, so we're getting close to that a very exciting point. And when we look at the points table, we see that the top teams are interestingly poised with Newtown, Delphic Newtown, Rams Village Superstars, SL Hospital St. Paul's, Conaree F.C. and Hobson Enterprise Garden Hotspurs, all very close and vying for that final 4 position. So we anticipate that it's going to be a very interesting push as we come down the stretch, because we have about 5 teams bunched together, all competing to make it into that final 4 spot. So we expect a lot of excitement as we come down the stretch and get ready for the final 4.
According to Mr. Jacobs, all the details pertaining to the payment of prize monies to the teams in dispute have been sorted out. They have been registered and participating in the league. But it's not all about the Premier League. Women's football is also on the rise with the Elvis Star Brown Women's League.
The women's competition, we must say, we are very, very, very pleased with the progress of in women's football. Last year, as you rightfully said, we started with a soft launch of female football for the very first time. We introduced the 9v9, which is a smaller version of the game. That was a kind of a dry run to see what to assess the potential of women's football in St. Kitts and Nevis. That went extremely well. We had about 8 teams, including the team Bat F.C, Bat United out of Nevis. And so from that, we commenced the very first women's football league in St. Kitts and Nevis earlier this year. That competition is still ongoing. It's very exciting. They're drawing good numbers, and that competition also is winding down. There are just about 2 more rounds of matches to go, and then the females will enter into the playoff phase. In that competition, we see teams like Delphic Newtown and Conaree F.C are the 2 front runners now. But we expect a very exciting conclusion to the very first ever women's football league in St. Kitts and Nevis. we at the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, with the support of FIFA, has been able to gather a number of equipment that were distributed to all the female teams last year, including boots and socks and balls. So FIFA is very committed to the development of women's football, and so we in St. Kitts and Nevis are able to benefit from that support. FIFA recognized the importance of women's football, the importance of the growth of women's football to the game, because we're speaking about 50% of the global population, and so it is very important that we expand the game to include women, and so we offer that support, and the teams have been doing exceptionally well.
But there's more to football than the Premier League and the Women's League. This year, the SKNFA introduced Junior League football, which was won by Hobson Enterprise Garden Hotspur's football team.
The J League introduced this year for the very first time. The idea behind the J League is to put the focus on our under 19 boys, our junior boys. What we found over the years is that a lot of our young players, they aspire to play in the Premier Division. A lot of them, although they might be in the senior team, they have not been getting a lot of playing time on the pitch, and so we decided to carve out a league of their own, that is a league for the junior players with emphasis on players under the age of 19. That will help us to develop those players. They will be able to get more time on the pitch, so that when it comes to the regional competition, the regional under 17, the regional under 18, or our young boys would have played in an environment, a competitive environment, for a very long time. And so we're hoping that it will be the kind of environment that will see better results in our under 17 and our under 20 teams when they participate in FIFA World Cup competitions. We are very satisfied with the competition. I believe there were about 8 to 10 teams. I must say a special congratulations to the HE Garden Hotspurs Football Club for winning the very first J League title. I know from the excitement and the celebration of the people from that community and the team that it is a championship that they will remember for a very long time.
And for Division 1 football, there is a lot more excitement this season. The format is different this year, as the team that tops that division, the KFC Challengers FC, has already been promoted for next season. But this year, even the 5th place team in Division 1 has a chance to make it to the Premier Division.
But in terms of relegation this year, the champion team in the Division 1 gets automatically promoted to the Premier Division. Then we have introduced some sort of a stabilizer, because we realize that over the years the team goes up and comes back down a year later, and so there's this yo-yo effect. And so we want to ensure that the teams that are in Division 1 are able to get a foothold and able to, as we say, when you go up, at least try to stay up for a number of seasons.
The ultimate goal is to have 12 teams in the Premier League, but for now, 10 teams will suffice.
We have to take into consideration the disparity between the strong teams and the weaker teams, and so we don't want to have a Division 1, which is our creme of the creme of the teams, and really we should have the toughest competitions. We don't want to have a situation where you have such a disparity, where you have a great margin between the top 5 teams and the bottom 5 or the bottom 6 teams or the bottom 7 teams. So we have to tread very carefully in this regard, in terms of how do we get to 12. In my estimation, it's going to take several seasons. We move from 9 to 10 teams this year, so we might want to hold it at 10 teams, make an assessment and see how those 10 teams are able to match up in the Premier Division. and maybe over next season or so, then we can move into 11 and then move into 12.
The top Division 1 teams battled it out for the Whit Cup as opposed to a playoff to make the Premier League. In addition to the Whit Cup, there have been several FA-sanctioned competitions designed to whet the appetites of football fans in St Kitts, who have been calling for more football.
Also, there is one other competition that I must mention, and that is the Under-14 competition that was completed earlier this year, because we have put a tremendous amount of emphasis on youth development. This Under-14 competition is the base for selecting our Under-15 players who will travel to the Cayman Islands in August to participate in the CONCACAF Under-15 tournament. So the Under-14 tournament held earlier this year was won by Newtown, the Newtown Under-14 boys, the champion, followed in second place by Ramsbury Superstars, and in third place by SL Hartford St. Paul's. And so special congratulations to them, and special congratulations to Delphi Newtown FC Under-14 boys for winning that championship. We also have another competition that is coming up later, and that is the Under-18 boys competitions, and that will commence very shortly.
Welcome to Extra Time. In this segment of the show, we feature any one of the matches played in the Premier League, provide highlights, and recap, where possible, interviews with players and coaches. This week, we pick one of the big matches of the second round, Harris Payne St. Peter's versus St. Thomas Trinity Strikers. Officials were Caldon Duncan, James Matthew, Florentine Morton, and Trisley Basu. It was a huge first half for St. Peter's, despite this effort from Strikers to get an early lead. St. Peter's got a good start with this Deonis Stevens strike in the 17th minute. Made it look easy. Strikers tried hitting back and missed this golden opportunity, but in the 24th minute, unmarked Kendall Liebert could not be denied. But that equalizer was short-lived, and St. Peter's took back the lead with this stunning header by Karen Phillip in the 25th minute. St. Peter's led 2-1 at the half. The second half was barely underway when St. Peter's doubled their lead again from this Karen Phillip play. St. Peter's were in full control but could not add to their tally. In the end, Ballon Rogers gave Strikers a lifeline with this 68-minute strike. The match ended 3-2. St. Peter's bagged all 3 points. Coach Orville Thompson was pleased with his team's performance.
I think my team can match up with anybody, with any team, because I think we got one of the best skilled team in the past.
That will do it for this edition of Football Weekly, your guide to the Digicel Premier League on St. Kitts. Do join us again next week, same time, same place, for another edition of Football Weekly. And don't forget the rebroadcast on Wednesdays, 6 p.m.